Welcome ladies and gentlemen to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the southwest, in blue, is Anotand. He's playing as the English civilization and is going to be going up against 3DB spawning in the northeast, in orange as the French. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to the Basin, one of the maps that was heavily used in the Road to Red Bull Wallow Legacy, and well, I'm super excited to see this matchup. The English versus the French, a traditional matchup that we have in Age of Empires 4, but most importantly, this is on the PUP, the Public Update Preview, the preview build for Season 4 in Age of Empires 4. And today, we will be discussing a lot of the changes that have happened to these civilizations, which is plentiful. For example, the English have the Abbey of the King's landmark boosted by the fact you can now make a king. It'll be exciting to see if that happens today. I do have some casted games with the king being featured. I'm not sure if today we'll see that. We'll have to wait and see what landmark Anotand decides to put down there. And the French have had some changes as well, and they've had a change to their trading. The Chamber of Commerce now spawns traders for every eco upgrade they get, whether it be wheelbarrow, double broadaxe, horticulture, you name it, they get a free trader. But we won't see any trade, or at least we won't see the trade landmark at least for the French today, because he's going to go up with the School of Cavalry. Going to be using 4 villagers to get to that next stage there, 3DB, and looks like it's going to be Council Hall there for the English, so traditional openings for both civilizations here. I wonder if we will see any of the new units, because there are new units as well. The Imperial units for the English from the Wingard Palace, they've got 2 new units. The Footmen and the Rangers. So I'm super excited to see if we could have a sneak peek of that or not, who knows. And the French, they do actually have some improvements to their siege. The College of Artillery landmark now has bonus damage increased from 20% to 30% for their Royal Artillery. But also, they can have an artillery shot ability for their cannons, and it's kind of like the Great Bombard for the Ottomans. It has this area of effect damage, and I can't wait to see that. Hopefully we'll see something. I have no idea what this game has in store for us, but I haven't quite yet seen the Royal Cannons being used in a 1v1 situation at a high level at least. And you know, I've got plenty of time here in this match. I suspect this will be a decent match. 3DB and Anotand have been going toe to toe for quite some time now, practicing builds and practicing strategies, so exciting to see how this one pans out, because we do see quite a few villagers on stone there for the English, so I suspect it's going to be a second town centre coming out for Anotand. And I wonder whether 3DB, well, he scouted that out, and his reaction is probably going to be just to stay on one town centre here and be aggressive, because that's often what French do best. They do well in the feudal age to be aggressive, and aggression can often counteract booming approaches, and we shall see though, because what's fascinating about the French is their town centre actually naturally runs faster. They actually produce villagers at a faster rate as they advance to the ages as well. And the reason why that's significant is, of course, they can actually relatively keep up pretty nicely against a 2 town centre play. Obviously, 2 town centre is certainly faster than just the 1, even for the French. But the 1 French town centre can keep up a little bit, at least for the short term. And that might be a window of opportunity for 3DB to do some damage. We'll see. He's got plenty of villagers and gold, so it does suggest he's going to go very aggressive on the knights. 6 villagers and gold. He's actually going to get blacksmith. An early blacksmith, it's not something commonly we see, especially because the base damage for knights is already so high. Adding in bloomery, which you get for free anyway, it's not commonly done these days, but we're seeing 3DB go for it. It does mean that it should only be able to get a 2 hit to kill a villager, as we do see the villagers now backing off the stone to get that second town centre. Question is, where is he going to place it? He's going to get a barracks first. Nice move, because that knight will be coming in first. I suspect this will be a position. You know, there's deer, there's gold, there's wood, there's stone, so it's a key spot here for Anotand to be able to defend with a static defense and a second town centre. Of course, lots remains to be seen. What he decides to do is actually walling up quite heavily on the west side. Wants to keep those French knights out, and he's going to need to, because those knights are going to start trickling in. Here's the first one. There is a longbow out, but there's only so much damage a longbow will do to a knight, and might even see a second one coming out very soon. We do indeed. In 2 seconds, the second knight going to pop out for the French, and you know, the barracks has only just gone up there for the English, so I'm not so sure how much of defense Anotand can put on. He needs some time. He needs these walls to go up, and needs some spearmen up. And he needs them quick time, because those knights are going to flood in soon. Now, curiously, it looks like 3DB staying on 6 and gold for now, so he's certainly doubling down. Isn't actually... Wait, hang on a minute. He's not actually producing any more knights. He's going to stay with the 2 for now. This suggests it might be a fast castle build for 3DB. The knight does dive in, gets a bit of damage from the town centre. It's going to try and snipe the villager on the wood line here, walling up. The villager does get the walls down though. Scout is in trouble here. There's a spearman doing a lot of damage, but the spear did a lot of damage on the scout. Oh, might lose a knight here, 3DB. I suspect he will, actually. Oh, just about gets away with it. If he doesn't keep running, though, he will lose that knight. Might be able to pick off a villager. He should be able to get this villager, but not without damage being taken. Knight does back off now. Oh, the knight on the back line that was so low in health does get taken down. And thing is, 3DB might actually sacrifice this knight for a second villager. He does get it, and well, 2 villagers killed. That's not bad. And look at the villager lead already, 27 to 22. And well, you know, at this point, Anotand needs that second town center to catch up. At the very least, and you know, 3DB has actually got a massive lead in terms of villagers. That is huge at this early stage of the game. There's a third knight popping out, so going to delay that castle age just for a little bit longer. He's going to get another scout as well to get that extra vision, and this is something to be paying attention to. You know, the top pro players, if you lose a scout, train another one. It's often that, you know, maybe mid elo players, lower elo players tend not to do this, and the scouting vision you get is incredibly important, especially if you're operating with knights. The knights don't have the greatest field of vision. In fact, we can just check out that knight. Like, it just doesn't see very much. Only about 3 to 4 tiles at best, and look, he's going to run straight into problems. And that's the problem not having a scout. And 3DB is going to need to try and run away with that. Maybe looking to get chivalry later on in the game to save that knight, but you can see the vision is terrible with knights alone. So that scout is going to be very helpful for 3DB as he now is getting the deer on the front patch in. This comes out of the fact that he's got map control with the units. Also venturing further out to the deer, and this is all brought about this safety. It's because he could be aggressive. He knows that the English have gone 2 town centers. They're not the most mobile civilization in terms of army. You know, spearmen and longbows. They're not particularly highly mobile. I think this knight goes down. Does indeed. So 3DB does lose another knight, but does take a villager out as well. So still with a 6 villager lead, and that is huge. He's down. He's on 1 town center versus 2, but still got a 6 villager lead. That's the power of the French town center and the power of the French knights picking off villagers. As another French knight does head in and maybe looking to snipe something, we shall see on the berries. Another villager popping out to try and get some walling down, but Anotand doing a better job of it this time, perhaps with the 3 spearmen and longbows. Getting in that position, B needs to pull away with the knight. He does in time, even without the scout acting as extra vision, or giving extra vision. And Anotand's slowly going to catch up on the villager count here, but B has done the damage he needs to and has got plenty of resources edging towards that castle age. 9 villagers on gold. He is getting to the castle age super fast. Considering how much damage he's done, he's probably going to get to the next stage, or at least click up or start building his landmark at 9 minutes. That's actually very impressive. Going to go up with the guild hall, just in case it goes to the super late game. He's going to go up with 13 villagers. He wants to get to that castle age very quickly, and that will unlock, well, the guild hall. He could be passively generating resources. He will have to click a button to cash it in, though. So that's super interesting. He's going to be playing a bit more of a... Oh, this is an interesting play, it has to be said, because he's not going super aggressive with this. You know, the aggression landmark for the castle age would be the Royal Institute to get the cheaper upgrades, the bloodlines and cantle saddles. But instead he's going for the guild hall, which suggests he's going to go for more of a late game approach. But he's only on 1 town centre and his opponent's on 2, so not really playing the eco approach. I'm a bit curious to see what B is going to be planning next. This is not the most standard play, which is something I love, by the way, because of course it's better to see new strategies than go for the standard old ones that we commonly see. It does have wheelbarrow, does have horticulture and the mining upgrade as well. Specialized pick, that would be called, and it's going to circle around on the west side. Fully walled though, Anotand, so he can just continue to build up his forces and stay at home. He's going to wall out his 2nd town centre. He's got the sacred site able to take as well if he wishes to in the castle age. But he's not really there yet, and he's nowhere near really. It's going to take some time for these villagers to pay themselves back, and well, it's only now that Anotand has the villager lead. It's only just crossed the 40 villager mark, and 3DB is on 39. All things concerned, 3DB with the French, the early tempo aggression from the French has really paid off so far, and I think Anotand, if he wants to get back into this game, he really needs to play the late game, because he's a whole age behind. Let's have more military. 14 versus 4. The knights pick off a longbow there. Has to head back now. Veterancy comes in just at the right time. Comes at perfect time, actually, on the retreat, where he was taking arrow fire from the TC. So the extra veterancy on those knights really would have helped. As looks like Anotand's going to try and grab this boar. The leash on that boar is not quite as what he would want. But yeah, this is super good for the French. Wait a minute, look at the resources count there on the top right of the screen. for 3DB. He looks to be going to the Imperial Age. Now that is something that we did not anticipate. He's keeping his opponent honest with the 3 knights, making him overinvest. This is so smart by B. I mean, to be fair, Anotand hasn't like totally overinvested. There's only 12 militaries got on the field, but you know, these are resources that could have spent elsewhere. It's not a huge overcommitment actually by Anotand, but it's still an investment. And while Anotand is stuck on 2 town centre, and 3DB is going to go for a fast Imperial Age, holy smokes. He's going to get there relatively soon. He's almost got the food he needs, and his macro is so on point here. I mean, the skill of these players to really judge actually how many villages they need is incredible. 13 villages in gold. He's about to click up, and he's going to go up to the next stage at like basically the perfect amount of food and gold. Could decide to... Yeah, he won't cash in the food. There's only 180 in the bank. Going to dive in, get another... I'm not sure if he got a villager kill there, but he's kept a lot of idle time anyway. A lot of idle time. That's 20 villagers idle. That's like half his economy here, Anotand. Might lose 1 knight though, 3DB. Managing to get away with it. College of Artillery, ladies and gents. We're going to be seeing Royal Cannons. I can feel it in my bones. That's the only reason that he'd go for a fast Imperial, you feel. Going to go up with 17 villagers, sending more from the woodline as well. He wants this fast Imperial and he wants it now. And holy smokes, I think 3DB is going to get to the Imperial Age before Anotand even gets to the Castle Age. That is huge. Or maybe not, because there are 16 villagers. No, in fact, there are 22 villagers going with that white tower. And it'd be a bit of a race, but with Imperial Age coming in very soon, that's a bit bonkers. Getting a monastery as well for some relics, maybe the sacred site as well. And I think this has all come about from the fact that, well, 3DB's had map control. He's had the military on the field, pressurizing constantly. He's had free reign to get these deer packs on the map, and he's now venturing onto berries as well. So, you know, he's getting to the Imperial Age without even having to invest in a single farm. Speaking of farms, here are a couple of the farms for the English, which is not a big deal. It's actually quite beneficial for the French, for the English rather, because the farms are cheaper and it's a very efficient source of food gathering for the English. The White Tower now will be able to act as a keep structure, defensive landmark. We'll be able to research a network of citadels and look to get other upgrades and units as well. In fact, with this landmark, it's actually been increased in terms of production speed. And as you can see, you can even train rams now. So Season 4 has plenty of changes, updates for us in Age of Empires 4. But I think we're going to start to see some siege coming out. I would love to. We're going to see the Royal Cannon, I suspect. It's pretty pricey. 300 wood, 600 gold. Having said that, the cost of this unit and the cannons have been reduced in Season 4. You may just notice that as well. No Imperial Age upgrades coming in just yet. Can't really afford it, of course. Heavy investment in that Imperial Age. It only has 51 villagers. Anotand is starting to pull in the lead with that villager count. 7 and 9 so far. It's interesting because I think the tech up is a lot more valuable. 9 villages is really not a lot. And, I mean, as a proportion of 60 it is, to be fair. But he hasn't had the lead for all that long. Food income looking great though for Anotand. 1,200 food per minute. Started to get the eco upgrades rolling in as well. The problem for Anotand is going to be facing up against the French in the Imperial Age. They're going to get relics as well, and if these become elite royal knights, these will take decent fights. I'm pretty surprised he hasn't got chivalry yet, because these knights could be healing up. I mean, you can't afford it, but you know, it is what it is. It has got the guild hall now toggled to gold. Oh, this is interesting. So he switched it. Oh, that's interesting. So switching the resources doesn't actually automatically cash it in. So he's still building at an advanced rate, because with the guild hall, the longer you don't cash in the resources, the quicker the increase. And we do see, it's like compound interest, I guess. In any case, here come the spearmen. They're going to do a lot of damage against the knights, even though that the veterancy is in for the knights. So no Imperial Age elite knights just yet, but it's Castle Age versus Castle Age units. We see a Rebolder Quinn. Wasn't expecting to see that unit, but we do, and it's going to do a lot of damage to the spears. Holy moly. He won't want to lose that unit though. That's a very expensive unit to lose. But it absolutely rips apart those spearmen. Holy smokes. Huge amounts of damage output from that guy. You'd love to see it. As you can see, 55 attack, 12 burst attack as well. Not the fastest attacking unit, but once it does, it can be devastating. We do see a Royal Cannon coming out too. Super excited to see this unit, have to be said. He's looking to get the boar as well in the north corner of the map. Does have 8 villages as well, so he's going to be maxing that out as much as he can there for EDB. Now, Anotand is starting to build a very healthy villager lead, 72 to 58. And so I think 3DB is going to want to be aggressive soon. The Rebordoquin might go down, and they're relatively cheaply lost there. And it doesn't actually fare that well against ranged units. So he's going to have to head back home with these knights. He'd lost Rebordoquin, pretty expensive unit to lose there. As you can see, 300 wit, 600 gold, but we do now see a royal cannon, and this is what we're talking about, artillery shot, which loads the cannon for an artillery shot. Next shot has greatly increased area of effect. Damage, that is, but no bonus against buildings, but, you know, it's situational. Take a good fight and maybe take a lot of units out, especially infantry units, especially archers. Okay, wait for it, maybe we'll see something happen, and instead of getting chivalry, he's got a couple of scholars here, a monk or two to heal up those knights. As we'll see another Rebordoquin coming out. It might be Age of Siege here. 3DB looking to pick up on this landmarks production. College of Artillery, expensive units. He's going to have good micro. If he loses these units, it's going to be bad for him. I hope for his sake he doesn't, because he's very much outnumbered. 41 to 12. Very passive here for Anotand. I mean, I guess if you're Anotand's position, you have no real reason to push. You suspect you're ahead by virtue of being 2 town centres. And you're probably quite comfortable playing the late game as the English. Although they have had some nerfs, so enclosures isn't as good as it once used to be. As we now do see a keep going up on this cult, which is a bit of a rough spot there for 3DB. Probably going to want to do something about that, but we will see if he can. In any case, you know, speaking about enclosures, that's something that's a big change for the English in the Imperial Age. Of course, a very strong, very strong upgrade to get. It used to be a gold every 5 seconds, but now it's every 3.5 seconds. So the gold generation time, that is, has been increased from 3.5 seconds. Sorry, yeah, it used to be 3.5 seconds, now it's increased to 5 seconds, so there's a longer time for the gold to be generated. As we see now, the knights heading forward. The spear's looking to try and take out some of those knights and do a lot of damage. Here's the Robbie the Rebordoquin firing off on those spears. The knights getting a lot of HP taken off them. There is a monk healing up and behind. Does lose 2 of those knights. Now these are elite royal knights as well, so that's important to bear in mind. These are the Imperial Age units. Royal cannon's doing a heck of... Oh my god, did you guys see how much damage that just happened? The royal cannon, get another one, please, please, please. I just want to see... Oof, there's a lot of damage. It didn't get that much damage on that last shot, but you get to see it. It's beautiful to watch. And there's gonna... Uh-oh, these villagers are very exposed. There wasn't any activated shot there, but... Okay, none there as well. There was no real area of effect damage there, I'm afraid, but seeing being activated now. Oh, that mining camp didn't last long. I'm just going to focus on these units because I suspect the shot come off. Come on, you can do it, cannons. Alright, didn't happen this time. 3 cannons going with the Rebordoquin. Has to be careful not to kind of keep him out of position. It's going to maybe take into man-at-arms now here, the French. Oh, another one. 4. There is a cooldown though. It's quite a large cooldown, the artillery shot, so you've got to be careful with that one. I didn't realise I had a cooldown. It does have 2 cannons without the cooldown. Will we see it being put into good effect now? Stonewall's coming out for Anotand. Oh my god, that's doing so much damage. Yikes. And don't forget, there is a Rebordoquin as well, so this is not a situation that Anotand can actually push. If he pushes, he actually loses all his units. And it's insane how many units, like, B has to be able to push all this weight, although he might lose another Rebordoquin. He will. The horseman snipes it quite nicely. The cannons do the rest though. Oh my god, it does so much damage. It just needs a meat shield. He does have the knights. The spear's trying to engage on the knights, which are doing a decent amount of damage. These cannons might be a little bit in trouble. Probably going to have to head back here. He's not heading back. I think B might lose a unit here. He might lose a cannon. They actually got a lot of HP on these guys. 190. It's decent. It's decent. I think he might lose this one. But not a bad return. Oh, he manages to keep it alive. Holy smokes, how did he keep that one alive? Oh, he lost that one in the end. Does he need to pull some villagers to repair these? He won't want to lose them as another cannon comes out. Oh, this is a culverin, actually. This is like a royal culverin. And 3DB is certainly experimenting, using a lot of siege, and we love to see it. Saw some big shots, though. Alright. Things have settled down a little bit, and 3DB has actually caught up a little bit in the villager count. I think Anotand lost a few. There's no second TC, as I can see here for 3DB, so it's just by virtue of village kills. Which is pretty significant. I mean, again, look, 14 villages is actually not a lot. It's not a huge amount. Especially when you factor in things like this central sacred site. He's got 2 sacred sites here, 3DB. Anotand doesn't have a single one. And does have 4 relics as well. So relatively even actually. If anything, 3DB might actually have the stronger economy. At least in terms of villager count. Now we see the... Oh my god, that didn't take long to take down, did it? We also have a couple of springholds here. Anotand will be looking to take out the siege. B needs to be careful. Uh-oh, these units are exposed. The horseman about to dive in. They thought better of it. The Balderquin is going to be taken down by the ranged units. Knights charge in. Does lose a Balderquin pretty cheaply there, the French. Here come the cannons. Oh my god. Okay, does a decent amount of damage, but I think Anotand is being very tentative here. He's probably a bit worried about the artillery shot, and I guess why wouldn't he be? As another Balderquin comes out. This siege is turning into a bit of a death ball. And I think Anotand is struggling to afford things. He's an age behind as well, surprisingly enough. And the trouble for Anotand as well is losing stables on the front line. Cannon's doing huge amounts of damage to them. And in the meantime, the cooldown is cooling down for the artillery shot. Looks like it's going to be another charge in for Anotand. Balderquins are looking to set fire. Horsemen trying to wrap around. There are man-at-arms and knights as well. A couple of spears added into the mix. Crossbows get a good latch onto those knights. There's the Balderquins. They're going to be shooting off. Oh, he's going to lose another Balderquin, you think? Yeah, he is indeed. Cannons. Oh my god, doing so much damage. I think there's going to be another cannon shot, we shall see. The cannons do a lot of damage there, and the horsemen try to dive in. They think better of it. Cannons sniping the horsemen pretty quickly, actually. There are a couple of Balderquins not firing off. Might lose another. I think that Balderquin in the north just survived. Cannon doing a lot of damage to those longbows. They have to head back home, and it's pretty crazy how just a handful of units, a handful of siege units for 3DB is doing so much damage. This town centre is getting taken out in no time, and that villager lead will not be building anymore as the siege starts to push forward again for 3DB. Has another Balderquin coming forward. There's also a Royal Culverin, so the trouble for Anotand, he can't really get close because of the Culverin. Anti-siege is not going to work for Anotand because of the Culverin, and horsemen can't even get close because of the Balderquins. Man-at-arms and spears and knights diving forward for 3DB. Don't forget, these are elite units. The man-at-arms are actually just regular man-at-arms for now. But it does have the elite Royal Knight upgrade, and those guys are chunky. As we see, the eco upgrades coming in as well in the second food gathering technology, fertilization for 3DB. Looks like the Balderquins are getting ready to shoot again. They are. They settle up. I think the horsemen won't get too far. They get absolutely sniped to pieces, and that's going to dive in even against their counter unit, the crossbows. There won't be enough here. Man-at-arms looking to take down and just form a line in front of the siege, keep them alive as long as they can. Longbows diving in, but they're not going to do all that much. Here comes out the cannons. And I think now Anotand is starting to lose position, down to 11 military versus 28. And I think the cannons are going to start to focus on the White Tower, and if it takes down that static defense, there's not going to be a lot standing in the way of 3DB and the English base. That's 6 cannons, and is repairing the Balderquins at the back as well with the villager. Okay, White Tower goes down, and things are starting to disintegrate for the English. And the units are pumping out for the French, 28 now in total. And he's got plenty of food and gold in the bank, 3DB. I'm surprised not to see more military production here in the form of knights. No cantle saddles, no chivalry. They're both pretty situational upgrades, to be fair. And here come the cannons. Holy smokes, they're doing so much damage. And how does Anotand stop this siege push? That's the question. I'm strapped out of ideas because it's just built up into a huge ball of units now, and I think horseman spam is the thing he's trying, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Here comes the siege set up. Oh, he's going to lose a Balderquin or two. It's a bit of oh my god. Wow. Okay, that was huge amounts of damage from the cannons. You can see they used the artillery shot. Villagers popping out, but he's going to lose a lot of villagers. He might snipe the siege, but at what cost? I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. Wow, that was a massacre. Another shot from the cannons. And yeah, the spears are going to do work against... Oh my god. There was one shot there that took about 20 villagers. They're all going down now, and there it is. There's a tap out. 3DB wins that game on the basin.